torch onto them.
You met these folks in the feature, Catalina Bird, a community advocate, Farmer Bell, a leader in the community, and Jannard Shadow Bar, the outreach coordinator at Penn North Recovery Center. It was a really strong feature and a really powerful story on Baltimore and the Unity Bowl. You know, shout out to Charlie Bloom, who was the producer in the fields who captured that story. And I wanted to coordinate this panel because I felt it was so important not to substitute black bodies, right? Like the untimely death of Freddie Gray and George Floyd are two separate incidences that are a part of the same problem, right? And I think it's so powerful that the folks in Baltimore said this is how we want our police to engage with us. And I wanted to go right to you, Shadow. What were those conversations like in the early inception of just trying to figure out what that looked like from a collaborative standpoint?
It's a very hard question to answer, to be honest with you. But the general attitude was, we got to do something about this. But if we're going to sit down and try to make actual lasting, sustaining change, it starts with something. And the smallest common denominator here is a need to expend energy and a need to create space for dialogue. And the only way we could come up with doing it was through sports, and football was the option.
Mel, I want to toss to you as well. What has it been like to have to do the work every day?
For me, it was very challenging. It was also very traumatic on top of trauma. But I've been someone for years that the community has trusted. So going back to the neighborhood after you've been talking to the police, it's going to take a certain amount of grace and I would say some moxie, to say the least, because now I have to have uncomfortable conversations on both sides. And so I didn't want to become a politician at all in that situation. I wanted action, changing the narrative and then going straight into controlling the narrative.
I love that. And we understand that this isn't going to solve everything, right? Like, can you speak a little bit about some of the tangible results, and whether that be, you know, the Monday for resources or the continued dialogue that happens following?
I mean, the tangible result, obviously, is it allowed us to continue dialogue. Some people, some of the youth ended up trying to become BPD, and they're still working on that, changing what an officer looks like, wanting to come to it and be of good in service to your community. I think there's a lot of tangibles that came out of it. The biggest one that I see is Baltimore's resiliency, right? 3 police commissioners, 3 mayors, and us 3 is still here, and the community is still moving forward. You know, it's just proof of our resilience and testament to the spirit of Baltimore.
You know, police can't rebuild trust in the community without being a part of it. And the community can't take part in police reform without taking some sort of ownership of what that police departments or various police departments are. And to see people over time slowly come to this realization that it's not so much about the event, it's more about the mind frame that goes into all of this. Because if we change the way we think, we change the things we do. If we change the things we do, we change the way people see us.
Excellent, excellent. This has been really eye-opening for me to have such a rich conversation on what it means to be a stakeholder in your community and what it means to be an instrument of change through continued action and participation. So I want to thank you, Kat, Farmer, Shadow, for joining us. What's the record for the Unity Bowl?
The way we carry it is, you're only as good as your last. So we won last year. So that's all that matters. The record is on the side of the trophy, which is in my living room right now. And I put it in the window, so I tell Officer Short and Russell, anytime that they want to see it, they come drive by and wave at it.
Right.
People came and they met, they felt comfortable. It's what we did with Coach.